Okay, so this is like a sesh trial, I guess. Just, just getting some thoughts out. But lately, what I've been realizing is you cannot overthink yourself into greatness. The reason why I'm saying that is because, like, I used to overthink a lot, especially before, like, I learned about herbs that can help me with that. But I used to overthink a lot. And I would think that if I knew more or knew more outcomes, whatever the case may be, just if I knew more, then I would be happier or I would be more secure because I knew so much. But I'm growing to realize that that doesn't necessarily help in terms of like security, feeling secure. Just because you know a lot of different things doesn't mean that you'll be able to properly adapt those things into your life or properly use them in the ways that you might want. And collecting all this knowledge just to have it, it doesn't necessarily mean that you'll know how to, like I said, know how to really adapt it into your life. It does its own thing within itself because, it's good to have knowledge. But that's why I said the whole thing about overthinking. You can't overthink yourself into success. And then even with that being said, I feel like overthinking might ruin a lot of people's happiness because that feeling or that need to understand everything is gonna always let you down because you'll never truly understand everything. Like, I know a lot of different things about herbalism and like holistic living, but I don't know everything, and I'm learning as I go. But constantly thinking and getting caught up in my thoughts will prevent that learning or prevent the ability to properly adapt the things that I've learned into my life. Especially when you start overthinking in aspects of, am I actually doing this right? Am I actually really, really doing what I'm supposed to? Is this the right way to do things? XYZ. I say that sometimes when I'm like, instead of etc., I'll be like XYZ. I mean, I don't know if y'all heard that expression, but anyways. Essentially, I'm just saying, like, you cannot allow so many different things to get caught up in your consciousness. This need to know everything because you'll never know everything. And that feeling that you want to know everything, like, you got to let that just be a feeling, because attempting to understand everything is just going to leave you in a place of, I wouldn't say insecurity, but yeah, insecurity. You won't feel secure within yourself and what you know. Because it's all these different things that you're learning and you're like, what do I know? Like, I know of these things, but what do I know for a fact? And that goes into my other point, and you can't allow so many different things into your consciousness in general. Like, if you don't like somebody, why are you putting yourself in a position to being pissed off by trying to keep up with their lives? Like, why are you willingly putting that into your consciousness? Why are you willingly knowing what that person is doing, and you know that you don't like them? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's one of those things where it's like you feel the need to know, but you really don't need to know. You really don't need to know. You need to let that go. You don't need to follow up on these people. You don't need to be knowing every single thing that this person is doing. You don't need to know none of that. Let it be. Go on with your life. And it's the same thing with like learning all these different things and different concepts that's coming across the internet. Not everything is needed to be ingested, okay? I know that we live in a world where a lot of different things are consumed to the point where people don't even realize what they're truly consuming. It don't matter if it's food, it don't matter if it's the social media that they see, the entertainment that they watch, the music they listen to. We're in a day and age where people are consuming so much that they don't even just step back and be like, why am I consuming this? Now, I'm not even gonna say why, but like, do I have to consume this? Because it goes back to the whole point of don't overthink. You don't need to think of the whys. Think of, do I have to? Do I have to understand this right now? Do I have to ingest this information that I didn't ask for? If I want to take it upon myself to go look more into it, that's one thing. But do I genuinely have to just deal with, trying to understand concepts that I never understand? I don't know if this makes sense, because I'm just saying, like, it just makes sense to me to just be like, there's no purpose in me sitting here and allowing myself to get caught up in things that don't make me happy. And I'm going to say that don't make me happy because life is not shits and giggles. There's going to be times where you're not going to be happy about some things, and that's okay. But I would say there's no purpose in getting caught up in things that purposely ruin your happiness. I know that perception and reality is two different things, and sometimes we perceive things to be something that's trying to ruin our happiness. The whole time we're just unhappy with what we're hearing, and the reality of something is truly meant to like break your happiness. But like, because the reason why I'm really saying this is because there's so many people out here in this world that have overthought to the point that it hinders them, and not only that, that they get so caught up in ingesting so many different things that is so much stuff in their head, and it's so much things that they're like thinking about that truly is not a reflection of who they are, you know. And it's and then they start reflecting those thoughts, they start projecting those thoughts, and they don't even realize it. So that's what I'm saying, like, you can't overthink yourself into success. You can't overthink yourself into happiness. Stop ingesting so many different things into your consciousness, please. And I have to even tell myself that sometimes I get caught up, especially with like spending a lot of time by myself, because boyfriend be on the road. So when I am at home by myself, or I'm in any space by myself, I tend to get caught up in my thoughts because I find safety in my thoughts. However, although I can recognize that, that doesn't necessarily mean that my thoughts should be my safe place, because I can get caught up in my head. I can let my mind keep running, and that shouldn't be the case. Sometimes you need to just stop, let things be, and let silence fill the room. It's okay not to think about all these different things over and over again. It's okay not to consistently dwell on the past. It's okay not to know what other people know about certain things in terms of entertainment and celebrity gossip and news and shit like that. Like, I'm not talking about like news that people need. I'm talking about like celebrity news, like shade room shit. But yeah, like you don't have to get caught up on those things, and that's really why I came to say like today that you don't have to, you can't overthink yourself into success. And then on top of that, it's some things that you don't need to know. Okay, one thing I have come to realize, especially during my journey of like learning esoteric knowledge and spiritual knowledge, the purpose of an all-knowing, all-seeing being is the fact that they create and keep creating, and they are creation itself. Like, God is creation itself. With that being said, that's God's job to know every single thing, not yours. Not yours. You would literally run mad, and I could definitely tell you this from experience. I almost drove myself crazy trying to understand every single thing. I'm talking about every single thing, down to people's patterns, the way they think, where they could tie in spiritually, things about spirituality, to the point where I'm just like, I'm damn near losing my mind. And I think that's why some people go through spiritual psychosis, because it's so much shit that you're not even supposed to know. Like, yes, you should be like knowledgeable about a lot of different things. However, the knowledge that the creator of all creations has, you'll never be able to encompass that, because we create off of what we see. The creator creates because it's creation. God is creation. God creates because God creates. God just creates because God is creation itself. He's the creator. So with that being said, having that mindset, you see what I'm saying? Having that mindset that I need to know everything as a human being, it really puts you in a position where you can become depolarized from your true purpose and from who you are as a person. Because some people get caught up in this idea of, yes, we are gods within our own right, to start thinking that they are God, but that's not the same thing. We are parts of the creation. We are not the creators. We're creators within ourselves, but we are not creators of all creation. You get what I'm saying? Humans can only create based off of what they've seen. God can create out of nothing. God, there's so many different things. I said out of nothing. Out of nothing. There's so many different things that are in the ocean. Every time people come across it, they're like, God's just doing stuff. Yes, God is just doing stuff, and we would never think to put nothing together like that, because that's not how our brains work. That we're not wired to comprehend all that, and that is okay. That is okay. I'm not sitting here and telling you shouldn't be knowledgeable about certain things, but I am saying that you have to let some stuff be. You have to allow yourself to let things be. You don't have to drag stuff. You don't have to know every single thing, and that's okay. However, like I said, I'm not telling you don't be knowledgeable. Learn, continuously grow, but do not get so caught up on what you're learning to the point where you can't apply it in life, because you're so caught up on your thoughts. You're just so caught up on the things that you're thinking and the questions you have about all these other things, because you might not get those questions. immediately. You might not get those questions at all. And that's okay. That's okay. You have to find peace in not knowing everything. You really do. Because you will lose your mind attempting to wrap your head around every single thing, especially when it comes to people. I remember when I used to be like, you know, I consider myself to be a certain type of person to the people I was cool with or the friends I had. And then they'll do something and I'm like, damn, why are they acting this way? Like, why do they operate like this? I'll never understand. I can make assumptions, but I'll never understand. I would never fully understand why they did the things they do, why they do the things they do to this day. Like, I will never understand that. I just have to make the conscious decision of seeing what they do and deciding to let it be and move around, depending on what it is. Because some people do stuff and I'm like, that's questionable, but not in a bad way. Just like, dang, why are you doing this? And sometimes I do ask them, you know, and that's another thing too. You can ask these questions. You don't have to get caught up in your head to the point where you just question, and you being so introspective about it all versus just being like, let me actually ask them this question. But that's a whole story for a whole nother conversation. Like I said, you're gonna run yourself rabbit. I don't even think that's the right terminology for like the right metaphor. What is that? That's not a metaphor. Anyways, you're gonna run yourself crazy attempting to sit here and wrap your head around every single thing. Like, not everything has to be included in your conscious thinking. You don't have to constantly choose to think about shit you can't change. You don't have to constantly choose to think about the things that you don't want from your life. Like, you don't get nothing from that. Acknowledgement is one thing, but constantly think about it is a whole nother thing. You can acknowledge, hey, I'm not where I want to be in life, and be like, okay, well, I need to make a conscious decision to do what I need to do in order to get to where I want to go. That's way different than I'm not where I need to be in life. You thinking this shit all the time throughout the day. Like, it could be little stuff. It could be you at work. It could be you at school. It could be interactions with people that you might feel like are better than you, whatever case may be. You can be feeling like it's somebody that is reflecting like, oh, where you could be in life. Even with that being said, it's not good to compare yourself to somebody else, but it's definitely not good to compare yourself to somebody else and consistently think about the fact that you're not where you want to be in life. That helps nothing. That helps absolutely nothing. You have to be. You have to let things be, and you have to move forward. You have to move forward. But yeah, that's the end of this video. This is just me yapping. And I could keep going, honestly. I really could. But it's just like, what would I talk about? Okay, because I got a lot to talk about. I've been thinking about identity lately as well, and how people perceive themselves versus who they really are. And I'm starting to realize a lot, and it's not from overthinking. It's from genuinely just watching, observing, and going on with my own observations. I don't have to think about it over and over again. I already know. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen the research on it, whatever the case may be, and that's enough for me. I don't have to go into a rabbit hole all the time. I don't have to drive myself crazy or go mad trying to figure out the precise reasonings as to this and that and this and that. That shit is no. But when it comes down to identity, right? People tell you what they want to be. They show you who they want to be. Especially, like I said, in this day and age, people are consuming things on a different level versus like whether that's food, entertainment, the music they listen to, whatever. When it comes down to it, people are starting to show you who they want to be through the things that they do. Specifically, this goes into like the entertainment category. The things that they see, they're starting to adapt it into their lives because they want to be those people, or they want to be in proximity to the things that they're seeing. However, with that being said, you'll never get to those points because those people or the things that you're seeing that you are trying to become in proximity to are there for a reason, because that's who they are. That's their identity. That's their being. They're not thinking about being, they're being. The difference between being and thinking about being, or obsessing over someone else's being, or whatever case may be, the biggest difference between that and anything else is the fact that that is your purest frequency. Like you're at your highest frequency. I'm not gonna say highest, that's not even the highest, but you're on a frequency of originality. not even just saying originality, because you might see somebody else doing it, but I say you're on a frequency of, what's the word? I'm over here having a brain fart, y'all. Hold on. What is the word? You're on a frequency of, y'all, this is fucking crazy. Excuse my language. This is freaking crazy, okay? Authenticity. There we go. That's the word. Okay, so you're on a frequency of authenticity. When you're a being and you're in a state of being, you're on a frequency of authenticity. No one can copy a frequency of authenticity, because it's an extension of who you are, who you truly are. And it goes back to the conversation of identity. That person is being. People try to adapt and recreate because they want to be in proximity to that person's being. However, you'll never get there, because that's who that person actually is. That's not who you are. That's not who you are. Same thing with somebody deciding they want to be rich. You sitting here constantly thinking about, I want to be rich, I want to be rich, I want to be rich, or saying it out loud, constantly saying mantras. And these things help to an extent, but saying it out loud and writing it down in a journal is not going to get you exactly where you want to go, the way that you want to go. Being who you want, who you desire to be, waking up and being like, I consciously decide to be the person that I need to be in order to fulfill those goals, will get you exactly there, because you're on a frequency of authenticity, not thinking about being authentic, not thinking about being in proximity. You're just doing. You're getting up and going. And that's the reality of life in general. Everybody can't tell you how to live your life. Let's start there. There's going to be moments where you're going to have to decide what you want for your life, how to get there, whatever the case may be. And it's going to be between you and God. Nobody else. People can't guide you directly to what's meant for you. You have to guide yourself through doing actions, taking actions, and having faith in yourself. And not only that, the creative our creations, that God is seeing what you're doing, and God is creating a way for you to make it to whatever you're trying to make it to, especially if it aligns with your purpose. But that gets you, being authentic gets you to where you want to go quicker than sitting here and being like, I have to be in proximity to certain things, and I have to have all these other attributes before I can get there. The quicker that you decide that I'm going to be who I am, or I'm going to be who I desire to be, you're going to naturally start taking those actions. Those actions are naturally going to start coming about, because you have made a conscious decision to change or shift into the person that you desire to be. Sitting here and having a mindset of, oh, I need all these different things before I start, is just going to hinder you. You have to just start. And as of right now, that's really all I gotta say. Like, just get to it. Don't sit here and allow yourself to hold yourself back through thoughts. Don't sit here and allow yourself to hold yourself back through a lack of execution in terms of action. You gotta get to it. You have to really put your foot on the ground. And yes, you're not gonna know every single thing immediately, but you will learn. And when you learn, you're before you look up, you're gonna get exactly where you need to be by being who you need to be, and not getting caught up in your thoughts, not consciously allowing things to get to you, and not accepting things to just be in your consciousness. Like I said, everything does not need to be understood, and that is okay. That is okay. Just keep doing what you need to do. Don't overthink it. Get to it. Don't overthink it. Get to it. Don't overthink it. Get to executing. Don't overthink how you're going to get these things. Just start moving. Just start moving, and you'll get there. All right, guys. I'm going to catch y'all later. My lights on my tripod is literally about to die. And this has been 19 minutes of me talking. I was scared at first. And this is a prime example of get to it. Because I literally was like, I don't know about that. I was literally like, what the fudge? I don't know how to do that. Listen, I'm trying to do the best I can right now. But this was scary. This is scary in concept. But in action, now that I'm doing it, it ain't that bad. Like, yeah, part of me started getting a little bit nervous in the middle of me talking. But at the same time, it's just like I said, work through those things. Work through those things. It's okay. It's okay. You don't have to understand exactly how to show up exactly immediately. You're going to learn. You're going to learn by actions. You're going to learn by going. You're going to learn as you go. But yeah, y'all have a blessed one. I'm going to catch y'all later.